Hello everyone, and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall STOUT. Adequate rains have kept this pasture nice and green as we round the corner into August. Ideal conditions for a unique research study underway involving beef cattle grazing on both wheat and cover crops. SUNUP's Austin Moore picks up the story from there.
Earlier this year, we were joined by Extension beef cattle specialist Dave Lalman here at Oklahoma State University's Beef Center to talk about two grazing methods. The first, traditional Oklahoma native pasture grazing. The second still used native pasture, but it used it for half the time at twice the stocking rate. The other part of the time, cattle were given limited access to wheat pasture. Well, the numbers are in, and they are impressive.
These calves in the intensive system weaning weight on July 16th was 767 pounds. That's an average of the steers and the heifers. The extensive managed calves weighed right at 700 pounds. The intensively managed cows on July 16th, weaning time, weighed an additional 110 pounds and about a full body condition score higher than the cows managed in the extensive system. So we were able to cut back on the acreage required during that year for those cows by about 30%, and the cattle weighed a lot more, both the cows and the calves, and cows were in better condition.
But this experiment is entering a new phase because the start of summer is hardly the end of grazing challenges.
One thing we have in the summertime throughout Oklahoma is a lot of underutilized land that may or may not be suitable for grain crop production, but we can throw a forage crop out there and try to take some of the pressure off our grazing lands.
So, cover crops were planted in this field in June, with cattle turned out in late July for a 45-day grazing period.
So you can see here at the end of July, we've got a tremendous amount of forage available, both sorghum, Sudan, and cowpeas, and it's extremely high quality right now. These cattle have been out here grazing for just over a week now, and so they have barely put a dent in it. In fact, I'd guess that it's probably growing faster than the cattle can consume it.
Of course, cattle gains are only part of this equation.
We are testing things that are not necessarily in the realm of soil health development. Grazing cover crops, the way we're going to graze them, essentially very heavily, is not what a soil health expert would tell you to do. But we also have a continuum from a heavily utilized system up to a minimal cover crop utilization system to try to see where the balance is.
By grazing this cover crop and through the manure return to the soil, we're not really extracting that many nutrients from the system. It's all going right back to where it came from. And in fact, the cowpeas may be capturing some nitrogen. And so hopefully we'll have a positive impact below ground as well as above ground.
So better gains in the cattle so far, with the expectation that better health will lead to increased fertility. Then expected gains in soil health and a long rest period for native pastures. This is an experiment you'll be hearing more about as economic and carcass data become available.